Travel back in time with a trip inside the Iowa's News Now vault.
We know what matters.
It's noon in Eastern Iowa. Time for Channel 2 Midday. With your host, Kristen Dodd. Today's news from Dave Shea. Farm news with Wade Wagner. Now, live from Channel 2, it's Midday.
Good afternoon and welcome to Channel 2 Midday, live here at the Five Seasons Center. For the next 5 days, the Season Center will be host to Disney's Magic Kingdom on Ice. And with me, as you can see, are some of the characters and skaters with the show. Mickey, are you enjoying your stay in Cedar Rapids? It looks like you're having a good time now. Okay, thanks a lot. Later on the show, we're going to be talking to some of the skaters to see how they feel about skating in such a show and what it's like to go all the way across the country and even overseas when they tour. We'll also be seeing how they put together the floor and transform just the floor of the Season Center into an ice skating rink. But first, let's go to Maggie Jensen, who's back at the studio with the news. Maggie?
Thank you, Kristen. The Miami quarterback. And that's our news this noon. Back to Kristen Dodd, live at the Five Seasons Center.
Okay, thanks a lot, Maggie. The skaters here at the Five Seasons Center are definitely no amateurs, very much professional skaters. Michael Nemec and Penny Booth, a skating duo on the show, are both former professional world champions. Thanks a lot for joining us today.
Hello.
Now, you've been together for quite a while, but you're from Vienna and you're from London. How did you get together?
Well, this was a big story, but to cut it short is that I was recommended to see Penny in England, and she was offered to find a new partner, and in Austria I couldn't find a girl, and I had to find someone who was suitable, small and light to throw around out here on the ice.
Now, last night when you two were performing, you got a big crowd response. You definitely are crowd pleasers. How long does it take you to learn the tricks, and is it harder to work together as opposed to just skating alone?
Well, basically for our own numbers, whichever show we're ever in, we choreograph our own numbers, and we've been together 10 years, and I think, let's say, the last 5 years we've pretty much learned all our tricks where we can perform them, mostly, every time without mistakes.
Does he ever drop you?
Yeah, it happens. And then you get an even bigger response, I tell you.
Now, you have to be fairly trusting of Michael. I assume you two are very close friends as well?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, now you do a lot in the show as duo. Could you go ahead and just give us a sample of what some of the things that you perform?
Okay.
I'll move out of the way.
Okay, come down. And here.
I told you would do it.
Go.
Could you believe that? I hope that's going to be cut. It happens to the best of us, huh? Well, maybe tonight will go a little bit better. What is the hardest part of your routine?
The hardest part of our routine.
Was that it?
Is certainly a one ankle spin. Do the one ankle spin.
No, I'd rather not.
Can't believe it. Okay.
What goes through your mind when you're up there? You know, normally you don't fall, but what does cross your mind?
Not too much, except I must adapt to whether Mickey decides to be fast or slower, depending.
Now, how often do you change the routine? I know that you're on the road quite a bit. Is there much chance for change?
This is how it stays. And we've done this show now for 2.5 years with the same routines, but we're trying to keep our ideas going for other shows.
Now, I've noticed there are a lot of what seem to me rather young people in the show. What is the major age? What average age would you say are in the show?
Around 20, 22, 23.
Yeah, the principal skaters are usually, older,
Yeah,
which is nice.
Experience.
Yes.
Well, thanks a lot for both of you joining us, and you're going to be on a little bit later, and maybe this time we won't fall. We'll go ahead and take a look at the weather forecast right after this. Today's segment of It's My Job takes a look at the people and the process which make this show happen, the Disney ice making team. The ice making process takes only 36 hours, but the ice makers arrive in town a week ahead of time just in case. They start with a sectioned, hollow, portable aluminum floor. Spray it with a fine mist of antifreeze, which is cooled by a compressor to 15 degrees. Once the first layer fills in the cracks, layer after layer is sprayed on until the floor becomes an ice skating rink. The job involves a lot of manual labor and a little knowledge of refrigeration. But for ice maker Eric Claybrook, all it took was a foreign language.
I speak Japanese, and that was the main requirement for me. The show was going over to Japan a few years ago, and I spoke Japanese, and they wanted somebody on the ice crew that spoke Japanese, could help out. So basically, that was what happened with me, and then I just learned as I've gone along.
Eric has been layering ice for Disney for 3 years and has only one complaint.
You get tired of hotels every once in a while, but actually it's quite fun. The job's nice, excellent bunch of people. Get to travel quite a bit. We have an overseas tour that'll be going over to various places overseas. We're not sure exactly where yet, but we'll be leaving for that within the next 6 months or so. So you can see quite a bit of the world, quite a bit of the state, so it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it.
And because of those dedicated workers, we can all enjoy it. Up next, we'll meet the star of the show. Please stay with us. The Walt Disney Kingdom on Ice is a native of Helsinki, Finland. Christina, you've been skating for a long time, and you skated since you were 6 years old, right? And you entered your first competition at 8?
Yeah.
And you skated professionally. Now, what made you change into going on something like this?
Well, after you compete a while, this is pretty much what you do after. You either do this or you teach or... And
Did you like the competition?
Yes, I liked the competition, but I had had enough of it. I competed for quite a few years, so I was ready to do something like this.
Now, for anyone who's at home, any children who are practicing their ice skating rinks on ponds, what advice do you have for them if they eventually want to compete and eventually do something like this?
Well, it takes a lot of work and a lot of dedication, and you just have to put your heart and mind into it if you want to achieve something.
Now, how long have you been with the show?
This is my 4th year.
Now, do you ever get tired of being on the road?
You kind of create a routine and stuff with the living, but yeah, there are times when you're tired of hotel rooms and but
where are some of the more unusual places that you've gone? You've been all over the United States. Have you gone overseas?
We went to Japan and we went to Taiwan already, and supposedly we're going back to Japan this spring, so.
Is there anything different between performing there and here in the United States?
Yeah, the audiences are different there a little bit. Well, for them, I think they don't see as much entertainment as the American people, and especially Disney in Japan is very big with the Disneyland, so they really appreciate it. Well, they do here too. But
now, how many numbers do you do in the show?
I do 2 solo numbers, plus I come out in opening and finale. And
now, it's a lot of costume changing for everyone. What's it like backstage?
Sometimes a little hectic, but you get used to it.
Do you do your traveling by bus, or how do you move around the country?
It depends. If it's over 400 miles, we take a plane. Otherwise, it's a bus trip.
And then in hotels, right?
Hotels.
Do you ever get a chance to go home?
In the summertime. So usually when we have a break, but...
How often are you able to change your routines? Has the show been the same for 4 years?
This is my 2nd show. This is the 3rd year for this show. So now that we're going overseas, it's going to stay the same pretty much.
Now, are you able to choreograph your own dances?
Pretty much so, yeah.
Hi, Mickey.
Unless there's some other people involved and stuff, so then I have to listen.
And Mickey, how are you doing today? You're doing okay? Okay, well, we're going to get back to you in just a minute because you're going to teach me how to skate. And we'll show you that when we come back. Yeah. Okay. Welcome back to the Five Seasons Center, where we're with the skaters from the Disney Magic Kingdom on Ice. Mickey. You all are very good skaters. Christina, what's the key when you first start learning how to skate? What are some things that you should do?
Well, when you're very, very young, I think first you should get used to the skates. You should have very good stiff skates to skate on, and then you kind of learn to walk on them first.
Okay, well,
with the
Mickey,
balance.
Let's take a turn on the ice. How are we doing? Okay, and you guys can just go ahead and do some of your routines. Do another routine. No. How do we do this? Do you do anything fancy? Let's go over here. Okay, what's something fancy I can do to wrap up the show? Okay. We'll see you tomorrow.